Hello, everyone. My name is Giselle Wallace, lesbian life coach and author. And today I have a title for the video, and the title is A Man's Fixation on Lesbians. It's pretty common for people to expect a man to be attracted to a woman in general. However, not all men are attracted to women because there are men who are gay. But that's not what this topic is about. The topic is to discuss heterosexual men, and in some cases, bisexual men who are attracted to women. And the distinction with this topic is men who are attracted to women who love women exclusively. Now, you might say, well, he's just a man and he just likes women. He's not even thinking about you being a lesbian. And that's pretty accurate, because lesbian women, we need to consider that a man does not know whether or not we are a lesbian. Now, once he does know that we are a lesbian and he actively pursues you, then in that case, it makes you wonder, why is he pursuing me when he knows that I'm a lesbian? Lesbian means I exclusively am attracted to women emotionally, physically, mentally, sexually, and spiritually. And it also means that whether I'm single or in a relationship with a woman, I am still attracted to women exclusively. And that's why I want to discuss a man's preoccupation, his fascination, sometimes even obsession with women who are sexually and emotionally into women. And there is a distinction, and the reason why I know it is that men will say, well, maybe you will like a man because all women kind of have a desire for a man, because women's bodies are made to fit a man. It fits like a glove, you know what I mean? But just because the anatomy of a person's body is designed or structured for sexual relations does not mean that a person's heart and mind is designed for the opposite sex. In this case, I'm referring to a woman who is a lesbian, who has all of the woman parts. She functions 100% accurately. And then you have a heterosexual man who has all of the parts. He functions 100% sexually. We know logically, if these two people come together and they have intercourse, sexual intercourse, yes, we know the parts fit. However, sexuality is deeper than the physical anatomy of human beings. Sexuality is the heart, the mind, the emotions, the soul, and the spirit of a person. So all of this has to be intertwined, and there has to be a full-on connection between two parties, and in order for them to actually really connect with one another. So a woman who is into women, she is able to 100% connect with another woman. And actually the physical anatomy fits as well. And a woman's mind who is interested in women only does not have an emotional or romantic connection with a man. So it doesn't actually fit. It's not compatible. And if a man does desire to have sex with a woman, well, that's natural, that's to be expected. However, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, or it doesn't mean that it should happen. And men are able to understand that women are all made differently. And what I mean by that is there are some women who don't have to be with the man at all and she's heterosexual. She can spend a long period of time just being to herself and being celibate. And they also are aware that there are women who are bisexual. So these are women who are attracted to both men and women, emotionally, mentally, physically, and sexually. What I have noticed is that many men confuse bisexual women with lesbian women. Or maybe it's not confusion, maybe it's just denial. There is a huge distinction between bisexual women and lesbian women. Yes, we both have same-sex attractions. And as far as a bisexual woman, it may vary as far as her emotional capacity to be involved with a man or a woman. But with a lesbian woman, her emotional capacity to be with a woman is completely attached to being with a woman. There's no variation. The emotional connection, the physical connection, it's 100% whole. Whereas when it comes to her being involved with a man, the emotional aspect may not be there. It may not be there. There are exceptions to the rule, of course, because I do believe that there are situations where a lesbian woman can be with a man emotionally and sexually. However, I would encourage men not to focus on that because it's not very common, and there's more women in the world who are sexually, emotionally, romantically interested in men than there are lesbian women. Lesbian women, there's many of us, absolutely, millions, but we still don't actually dominate when it comes to sexual orientation. There are more heterosexual women than there are lesbian women, which means men have plenty of opportunity and options to choose from women. So why is it that a man's fixation is for lesbians? Where does that come from? Where does that derive from? It could be their pride. It could be their ego. It could be masochism. They want to dominate and exercise control over the female sex. And if she does not allow him to, he might be offended. Or he may think the woman is not sure of herself. But she's sure of herself. She knows who she is, and she doesn't need a man to teach her or to confirm who she is as a lesbian woman or a lesbian girl. Men have to understand that women do find men attractive physically, but not necessarily sexually. And women may find men interesting. They may find having a friendship with them as a good thing, but they're not thinking of having a romantic or sexual relationship. There is a difference, and you have to understand and study women to know where she stands with you. And that requires communication, and that requires having an open mind, and it also requires for you to not be easily offended. And please don't take it personal, because I think men are wonderful, and I think that men have their purpose in this world. Even in a situation when a lesbian woman is involved. Because, for example, I think men are great at various things. They're good at building things. They're good at handling monetary situations such as business or finances, and they're able to protect women in many ways. And men are actually leaders, and they can be very spiritual, wonderful human beings, and they have a capacity to them where they have an authoritarian characteristic, where they have an authority aspect of them that is very admirable and respectful, and it's very needed. So I don't want men to think that lesbian women hate men, because that's absolutely not true. And we do find that you have a certain position in our lives, but the issue can be when a man does not consider a lesbian woman's perspective, and he doesn't respect her space, her personal space, as well as her relationship choices. Because, listen very carefully, relationship choices, we can choose who we want to be in a relationship with, but we cannot choose our sexual orientation. So a lesbian woman, she is not able to choose her same-sex attractions. Just like she can't choose if she decides to be with the man who she finds attractive, because that can happen. It is possible, but it's not common. So just understand that there's plenty of women in the world who desire to be with a man, and your fixation on lesbian women, I mean, it's wonderful to find women attractive. I completely understand. I find women attractive, so I understand that. And there's completely nothing wrong with you being attracted to women. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's fine. That's normal. And women actually expect it. Lesbian women expect it. It's just that we want you to respect us, and we want you to consider that not every woman is interested in being with a man romantically or sexually, and to not take it personal, because we can build relationships in many other ways. Business relationships, friendships. You may have somebody in your family who is gay or lesbian, and you can have a lesbian female friend who can give you some advice. So use things to your advantage, and don't allow things to work against you. If a woman is not interested in you romantically or sexually, it's not because she chose it. It's just she's that way. It's part of her unique characteristics, her qualities. It's a part of her makeup. And she's fine with being who she is. And you should be fine with her being with who she decides to be with, whether it's you or not. And if it's not you, you're going to have plenty of opportunities to meet other women in your life. But a man's fixation on a lesbian, it can become problematic when you become intrusive, when you disregard her feelings and her thoughts. Because once a woman is clear with you that she is not interested in a man, in dating him, or even being with him sexually, respect her decision. And if you can't handle being around her because you're too attracted to her, then the best thing to do is to remove yourself from her. Create space. You'll find someone. And in the long run, it'll work out for the both of you, because you'll both be happy, because you have established boundaries. And you probably can actually have a friendship in the long run. So everything can work out for itself. Just know that we see you, we recognize you, and we appreciate you. I know I appreciate you, men. I appreciate men. I do. I just want you to understand that lesbian women, we exist. We do. And we have in common with men our attractions to women. So we can share that. However, just because we have those same sex attractions for women and you are heterosexual or a bisexual male and you have an attraction to women, that doesn't mean you can cross the line and be with her in that way. It's just the way it is. And the best way to handle that is to consider yourself. As a heterosexual man, how would you feel if a gay man pursued you and you made it clear to him that you are heterosexual, but he ignored your words and he continued to make advances towards you? You'd feel disrespected. That's the same way women feel. We're all here to learn from each other. We're all here to experience life together. And I am a lesbian life coach, and I actually coach heterosexual men because some heterosexual men fall for lesbian women all the time. Some heterosexual men, they have lesbian mothers, they have lesbian sisters, and they just need a bit of guidance and instruction on how to be better men in the lives of women who are lesbian. If you would love a session with me, my links are in the description box here on YouTube. I'm a certified life coach, and I'm also an author. If you want to learn more about me, feel free to order my books. They're also in the description box. And subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have more content to discuss with you. Like and share my content with others, and I'm so glad that you're here. I hope my message resonates with you and gives you some clear understanding. And feel free to leave any comments, and let's keep the discussion going. Thank you and have a wonderful day.